Okay, so last time we did a couple of things. I'll start by running the processes so that we see them in action. For the CD into phase 3, then CD into fitness npm start. And for the backend we start it how again did we use to start our backend? Don't miss a how. Server, Conan correct server. Okay, so it started. At the moment, yeah, okay, we see the front end is running and the backend is also running. So what we did last time was we created all of us did the database design. We did that session together, so we just replicated the same. So we created models based on the structures that we had discussed. So usually that's the first step, design a database. Yeah, so these are the relationships we created. These are the relationships we created between different components of our app. Okay, so for the models, that was it. And then there's we created our database, and we had a couple of migrations to create our tables inside our database. So we have a couple of migrations. These are just basically creations of the tables inside our database. Yeah, majorly that's it. Yeah, these are the columns inside our tables. We removed a column here. Yeah, and that was it. So there's nothing much. So to support this, we can check the schema, see what we have. We have a couple of tables: appointments, feedback, reviews, trainers, and users. Okay, yeah, that was it. That is what we did last time. So what we were to do next was to seed our database so that it has data. So if we come and check our database right now, it's empty. It doesn't have any data. Yeah, we have the tables, we have users, but it's empty. We have reviews, but it's empty. We have trainers, but it's empty. It's still empty. So what we need to do is to seed our database so that we have data. So I will not write new seeds. I'll just copy from what we had initially. I'll just copy from what we had initially.
David,
Yeah.
when you guys created another repo?
No.
Yeah.
Mbona? Hapana. I'm just
Another project.
Pardon?
You created another project as in mlianza from the beginning.
Yeah, nilianza from the beginning. Yeah, si backend from the beginning because yeah, like I said, tulianza tuka create models. Then after models, we created migrations.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, that was it. The last session was give or take about an hour. I explained through models what models are. They are used to map your database and create relationship between your tables. Then the migrations are snapshots of your database at a specific point.
Okay.
So basically, majorly that was it. And then how to use a schema now to check what you have, what you don't have. So if you realize you don't want this, you can just remove it in one migration. Is the do you have any concern?
No. It's hard to. I was wondering why there wasn't anything called a seed. So yeah.
No, okay, yeah. I was starting from scratch, nearly from scratch,
So
to show you the flow, what goes on. Okay, so we've already written our seeds and your ISO. So if I come and run, let me open a new terminal and then run. First of all, you can run migrations to see if we have any migration pending, but I don't think we have any migration pending because the last one was, this is the last one, which is feedback. And if we check our schema, feedback is already there. Sorry, where's our schema? Feedback, yeah, this is feedback, so it's already there. So what we'll do is just run, we'll just seed the table, now our tables. So I'll come and write Rick db seed Rick aborted. I'm looking for Rick file. Hey, but let's see, bundle exec. Could not locate file. Oh, I'm running it from the wrong location. Sorry. So clear. Sorry. So I'm going to cd into fitness, not phase 3. Upper, this is all run seed. Okay, so our tables are seeded. So if we come and check the database, we should see a couple of fields per table. So if I open users, I see it has a number of users. If I see open reviews, I see it has a couple of reviews. If I open trainers, I see, yeah, kuna a couple of trainers hapo. So yeah, so that's it. Next will be to we've already seeded. So now next would be to what is next? Okay, I suppose the next would be to map our database to an API. Yeah, I guess that would be the next step. So inside our controllers, let's create a new there's no need of creating a new controller. You can either use this app or create new controllers. You can either use this you can either write your code inside application controller or create new controllers and then inherit from controller. So to save on time, we'll just create them here. There's no difference really, but it's still okay. So let's confirm whether our backend is working. Let's go and check the root directory, see whether everything is working as expected. So I'll come and write localhost. It was running on port 9092. The reason I know this is because this is the task that yeah, you can see it's bringing back this message. The reason I know that is because it's written in the rec file the port it will run on. You see they've indicated the port 9292. So based maybe you have a different application, you can come and check the rec file if at all the port is different, but by default Ruby will run on port 9292 by default, in case you haven't changed it, but you can change it to any port you want. Okay, so okay, we've confirmed this works. So now what we want to do is to make a get request for our trainers data. So what I would come and do kwa controllers, I would come and do a get request. Let me just do this, then write trainers CV, then hapa katikati I would come and write my request. So get to give it a link, so trainers do, then end that. So hapa katikati, this is where we'll write our logic. So we'd come and do let me just write at a t equals to trainers, sorry, trainer dot all, and then trainer dot all will bring back an array of all your trainers. So all of that array is stored inside t, but now we want to pass it as JSON data. So tutakwenda tuandike t dot to JSON. So remember again, the last line is used for returning. You can either write return or not, because the last line is definitely for returning. You cannot write anything past this line ya return and it works. So for example, if I were to, let me just undo it, alafu nikikuja hapa chini niandike hello, something like hello, so you'd find that this is what will be returned. Okay, let's try it and see what is going to happen. So trainers, yeah, see, anything that comes below the return does not show. Sorry, let me put this. Yeah, so anything that comes below the return does not show, so this is invalid. Yeah, you can also choose to leave this out. So if I refresh, you'll still get the same response. Did I close something? Trainers. Okay, yeah, there it is. So yeah, with this you can use this as your API to consume in your application. So we already have a link. So what I would come and do, I would go to my front end. Let me minimize this because I already have I have an API. I would go to my front end, to the SRC, and then find where you want to consume this API. So if I remember correctly, there was a trainers component. Trainers component. And if you look at this, this is where we were fetching initially. This is just another API that we did that I did kitambo. But right now we want to fetch from localhost, our new API. So if you come and check our link, it's localhost 92 then trainers. So I'll come and copy this, then replace this, Control V. So I'll come and delete this. come and delete this and then paste it here. If you realize, the only thing that has changed here is the port, because initially we were running a different port, but right now we're running a port 9292 then trainers. So if I were to go to my to your front end and then check the trainers tab, it should populate all the data that was there initially. You see, it's getting the data. This data is from the database. All of this data is from the database that we have in our backend. Okay, so that's a get request. Does anyone have any question to that point? Am I too fast? Okay, so that was okay. So that was easy. That was a get request. So we are going to do another get request just to make it simple. Let's just do one of the rails. Remember, we had an appointments page and we have a table here. You see, you have a table here. What if all the appointments were to be mapped hapa chini? All of them zikuja hapa chini based on our database. So what would happen is I would come to my database first, start with the backend, go to where your database is. Let me minimize this. Open your backend, go to app controllers, yeah, then open application controller. So we need to write a get request for our appointments table. So our appointments API, sorry. So I would come, let me just separate this here and recap our appointments. Okay, so tulifanya initially, we'll just write a get request pso get, then give it a link to where you'll want to get to fetch from. So appoint, then do, then end that process. So upper katikati, this is where we'll write our logic. So I'd come and write the variable names really don't matter, you can write anything you want. So a dot appointment dot all, and then we've stored all of our appointments in a variable called a. So I want to pass all our appointments as a JSON, so as JSON data. So ndakuja niweke a dot to JSON. So this will return it as JSON data. So if I were to come to this component, component ya appointment, and then give it a link, it will populate this area down here. So ndakuja hapo kwa, I'll go back to my first let's check whether we are getting data from this route. So appointments, okay, and there we have it. We are receiving data from that appointment, from that route. So I would go to my front end sasa and then give it that link. Go to src, the component was called appointment, and then I look for where it's fetching. Okay, so I see we had a link here, but sasa since we're no longer using that route, let me just put here 9292, and then yeah, let me just save all of them. No, achani kwanza. So yeah, you find we have this here. When we are fetching from our front end, we are fetching from this link. So we want to map that data. If I come here and then we refresh it, oh, hata imenini bila hata ku refresh, it's already populated data from our it's already populated data from our database, from our API. So if you check, it has appointment ID 1 to 15, who the user is, what ID is the user, what workout they want, what date they have booked, what is the duration that they want, who is their trainer, or rather trainer ID, and what date did they create this record. Okay, so so I've given 2 examples of get requests. Let's do one post request, then we see then we see what's going on. Okay, okay, so let's try filling. Okay, we've already done 2 get requests. Now we want to write commands for post request. So again, we would go back to our backend. We're already done with the front end. Let's go back to our backend, and inside the controllers, let's make our post requests. So for example, for trainers, we want when somebody fills this form, it will add their data to the database. That's what we want to look at the moment. So if somebody comes and just fills it, let me say head trainer. I'm not sure whether this is visible enough. Head trainer, alafu just given LinkedIn link, Pinterest link, then a direct link, let's see, and then an introductory message. Just write some bit of nonsense there and then send application. So if you go and check our database, this data has not been posted. Why? Because we don't have a post request to handle this data. So if we go to the database and confirm whether it's there or not, database development, if we check the trainers table, you see it's not. Let me refresh the table. You see we have only 5 people. The one I created, the name was David, but it's not here, so meaning it hasn't sent it to the backend. So what we need to do is write a post request. So I'll go back to my controller, and then add a post request for the trainer. So I would come and write post, then give it a link. We'll give it the same as this one. Just copy this, Control C, then paste it here. I then tell it to do, then end that process. So we want to tell it what to do whenever it gets a request. Okay, so let's we'll write the logic that goes behind it. So trainers, let me just say trainer equals to, we want to create a new trainer. And if you remember, even from our seeds, the command was write the class alafu create, and then pass in the fields that are needed, first name, last name, blah blah blah. Again, if you have to check, okay, trainer ni kubwa, let me check review. If you have to check review, you're writing the class name and then .create, and then pass in the user ID with the ID, review with the ID. So it depends with what your database wants. That is what you will write here. So I'm going to do the same exact thing with our post request. So I'm going to write trainer .create, then open brackets. So I will consult my schema and see what fields I need to create a trainer. So I'll come to my schema, then I'll look for trainers. If I need to create a trainer, this is what I need. I need a name, I need a job title, I need a Facebook link, Twitter link, a LinkedIn link, a Pinterest link, a link to an image of them, and then a description. So I will I will copy this to save on time. I will copy this. Okay, let me write the first few so for you guys to get the flow. I'll copy the rest to save on time. So if we checked the schema, we had a name. Okay, let me split screen it so that we can see it as we go on. So if we check the trainers, we have first we have a name, so I'd come and write name. So for the name, it will receive the parameter that we post. So I would come and write params, then brackets, then colon, name. So this will receive any parameter you send us name with a value of name. Check the next one we have is job title. So ndakuja niandike job title. So job title will receive params that are indicated as job title. I then put a comma hivyo tu hadi mwisho until you're done with all these fields. So let me write Facebook. Then this is the key, and then we write the value. So the value will be params, then Facebook again, comma, and then the next one is Twitter. Twitter is the key, and then let's write a value of params, then again Twitter. So let me continue. Let me copy the rest. Control C, Control V. Okay, it seems like they're a bit out of place. Yeah. Okay. So I've already created a post request for the trainers, but if you look at this, I'm just storing them in a variable called trainer. There's nothing I'm doing with the data. There's no I'm sending the data. So to use it as JSON, again we would come and write trainers is trainer is this variable over here, this one. This trainer is what you're referring to. So this trainer, we're calling it at the bottom, and then we are passing it as JSON. So dot to JSON. So when data is posted here, it converts it to JSON, then maps it to our database, so it understands how to consume that data. So if you were to go, we are done with the backend as far as posting is concerned. So let me go back. Let me go and see what we have in our front end, and then see how we can see how we can utilize that. Let me close this. Public API, not public, sorry, src. The trainers was in a component called add trainer. Yeah, so this is where our logic happens. And if you can see up, we have a fetch request with the method of post. So yeah, before we get to test this on our application, let's test this on using Postman to see whether the link works or it has issues. Give it a minute for it to open. Let's give it a minute. Does anyone have a question? Any question in the meantime?
Are you
Yeah, it's recording.
Okay.
Ndio hii hapa chini. 30 minutes so far. Sorry about the audio quality. Last time I was at school, so there's no way you can do like damage control usually. Just give it a minute. Any other question? Any other question? Okay, so okay, so anybody to tell me how I can test out my route? Any suggestions on how I can test my post request, whether it works or not? Anybody just to volunteer? Anyone? How to test our post request? Okay, so let's see how we can write it. Yeah, let's see how we can write it. I would come to upper Jew. Let me upper. You see here where we have delete. We can come and do a post request. Actually, start data from the get request, see whether the get request works, and then work your way down. So if I come and do a get request for port 9292, and then I want to look at appointments. No, actually trainers, sorry. We're working on trainers. So if I click enter, let's see whether it will bring back data or it will tell us we are doing something wrong. Okay, so it's bringing back data. If you can see at the bottom, it's bringing back data, but initially ilikuwa arranged not badly but not in a presentable way. So if for it to present in venye tumezoea as JSON, you have to click here and then click on JSON. Initially it was presenting it as XML. XML is a bit not human friendly, but yeah, you can also use XML. You might get an application that uses XML, so it's the same as JSON. The difference between formatting. Yeah, this is more human readable. Okay, so we've seen our trainers work. So now let's try a post request. We see whether it will work. So if I come and select all of this, I'm avoiding kutype hizi vitu zote. So copy, and then if I come hapa kwa post request hapa juu, there's somewhere where it's written body. Okay, hata niko na data hapo. Sawa, I already have hata data hapo. So if I check this data, let me change this to, let's say, David. Okay, let me use someone else's name, Lynette. Maybe ndakuwa nimechumia jina langu sana. Alafu let's say you're a head trainer, and Facebook, your Twitter, your LinkedIn, your Pinterest. Alafu there's an image hapa. Okay, this is an image of myself, so we don't have time to go and look for your image alafu post it, but just take it as we can just go and look for one image online. sitaki nikufanyie injustice. So if I open here and then do gym trainers, gym female trainers, then I go to images, siezi kosa 1 or 2 pictures that I can steal from there. So if I click images, okay, so which one should I steal? Which one? Lynette, I think you'll do the honors. Are you on the call? Since tunatumia jina yako.
Yeah, I'm on the call.
Aya, do the honors. Which one should we select?
Free young female trainer, you see it?
Which
That
one?
one.
Which
Yeah.
one? Wabi. Which side?
Scroll
This
to the
one.
left from where you are. Yeah, that one. No, where are you?
Upper.
No, chini.
This one. This one.
Right, to your right. That one.
This
Let's
one.
use that.
Okay. Okay, so I will steal the link of this image. So right click, copy link address. You can open it in a new browser to make sure you've gotten the correct link. So if I open it, if I click it, it's supposed to take me to the picture. Kama inipeleki kwa picha, that means imenipeleka somewhere else.